Without a shadow of a doubt, it's the Crunkest Show in social media history. I want to welcome you to another episode of the War Zone. I got my man in the building, Donovan Sadiq. The Queen, Demetra K, is on her way. And I am the 5-star General, Sean King. Samira Rice ate your ass up. Ate you up. It is what it is, man. But y'all sit back. We're going to talk about it. Say, man, I want to welcome you to another episode of the War Zone and tell you thank you for taking the time out to tune in. Because you know without you guys, we wouldn't have a show. So we appreciate you taking the time out to tune in. We're starting off like this here, man. A lot of people been hitting me on the inbox trying to figure out what the hell is wrong with the city of Houston Police Department, knowing that they got a plan and to deal with the violence. And I just told them I feel like they don't want to deal with it. They don't want to deal with it. You're not going to just let this get out of hand and you've been sitting on a plan for 3 years. So I get to say whatever I want on this show. You know, I can't do nothing but tell the truth. So fuck the city of Houston and the police department. Donovan, what happened?
Hey, good afternoon. It's Hump Day Wednesday. We finally made it through half of the week. All the shenanigans are still going out. They keep using the same playbook and people just keep falling for it. But in regards to the Houston Police Department, in regards to that, $1 billion and crime is going up. So is this their justification to ask for another $1 billion of your tax dollars that could be going to boys and girls clubs, could be going to community activity projects and neighborhood beautification programs? This is where your money's going. And this is when they say, when it's time for you guys to ask for your money, they go, oh, it's not in the budget or we don't have it. But you seem to always have money for the military and the police department, and the crime and the wars just keep going on and on and on with no end game. So we really got to start thinking about that as Black people. In the national news, your president, Joe Biden, people are getting on it. Even some Democrats are getting on him saying, man, you got to use this bully pulpit to get this stuff going through. You know what Joe Biden said? Fuck y'all. I don't care. Paraphrasing, because basically he's not using it. He does not care. We have to start realizing that you have conservatives and basic Democrats on both sides of the aisle that both upheld white supremacy. This is what they want. This is the program. It makes no sense. No sense. You have all the votes in the world and you can't run your agenda, and Mitch McConnell, who is not the majority leader, is still controlling the board? Give me a break. Demetra, what you up to?
Everything. I'm up to everything. So anyway, hello, everybody. I hope you guys are having a fabulous Wednesday. I think it's Wednesday. And everything is going your way. Of course, we're going to talk about a whole host of things, but we're going to start off with that of Samira Rice, who took issue with Sean King. This is going to be interesting. I'll tell you that much. So before we get started, if you can do us a favor and share this live so that everybody can get the information and join in on the conversation, we would greatly appreciate it. And also,
real quickly, before we get into the to Samira Rice thing like that, by the way, people of Houston, you guys are just, there's something going on in that city. The pastor that went to jail today, do not forget to mention that, Demetra. He went and walked into jail today. So even the pulpit is full of shit.
Right. So we're going to talk about that as well. Also kind of just wanted to say that Joe Biden is set to endorse the Equal Act. And that deals with the 1986 crime bill that imprisoned a lot of people, specifically Black people. It says that 87% of Black people ended up in prison due to the legislation that was written by then Senator Joe Biden. Is supposed to re-sentence some of those people and give more of a balance to the imbalance of the 1986 crime bill. But anyway, Gary, you want to go ahead and lead us into the topic at hand?
You can lead us into it.
All right, y'all. So, as you guys know, Samira Rice, we actually had her on the show. Now, she is the mother of Tamir Rice. Tamir Rice is the 14-year-old that was murdered in Ohio by police officers. He had a toy gun, and the police officers said they mistaked it for a real gun. About 2 seconds upon seeing Tamir, they murdered him in cold blood in front of his sister. Am I freezing up?
No.
No, okay. Murdered him in cold blood in front of his sister. And so the police officers actually got off scot-free for doing that. And so Samira Rice, being Tamir's mother, has, been very outspoken about what happened to her son. And she's also been very outspoken about different activists, if you will, using her son's name. And she's, most recently called out Tamika Mallory for her role in the Grammys where she was speaking. I don't know if she mentioned Tamir's name, but Samira had an issue with her, using the dead, if you will, to get a bag, right, to profit off of. And so recently, as of today, she called out Sean King on her Instagram, and she said the following. So she says, Sean King, why do you think it's so important to tell folks we had a conversation? Because apparently Sean King published a conversation that he and her had, right? So she says, well, we talked and everything that was said was very toxic and uncomfortable for me to hear, that you raised additional money and then you say you did not want to bother me. Personally, I don't understand how you sleep at night. I never gave you permission to raise nothing. Along with the United States, you robbed me for the death of my son. You gave me a cop and a donut conversation. All lies, Sean. Please stop thinking we on the same page. As a white man acting black, you are an imposter that cannot be trusted. My son was 12 years old, and the Department of Justice needs to reopen his case, period. Tamir, human rights was violated. Why should you ever make it about you? You are a selfish, self-centered person, and God will deal with you, white man. So that's what she said about Sean King. Now, unfortunately, I'm not privy to the conversation that was published. It sounds like, as I said, a conversation that they had, but she has taken aim at Sean King and has called him a white man acting black. So I'll let you guys have it before I jump in it.
We didn't discuss the conversation about the Instagram because I don't think that it was on Instagram at the time, but I spoke with her yesterday. We spoke yesterday and just to check on her, see how she was doing. And she's a very genuine person. But we didn't discuss Sean King yesterday when we spoke. And the way that I feel about it, not just from Sean King, but from a lot of these folk out here, they're opportunists. They're using these kids' deaths to line their pocket. I've caught some locals doing the same thing with GoFundMe's, using these kids' deaths to line their pockets. Sean King is one of the ones that I don't really cut for at all. I don't really cut for him at all. And her saying what she said, that is her honest opinion. I have my own opinion of Sean, and it has nothing to do with, a white man in a black body. It got something to do with a parasite. So, I don't cut for him, and I don't cut for the rest of them out there that use these dead individuals to line their pockets. Donovan.
Yeah, I'm going to have to double down on that because that's exactly what these people are doing. And, what I like about Mrs. Rice is the fact that she's fighting for justice for her son. I mean, basically everybody, you got to check whatever. And, but that isn't what, she was aiming to do. She wants justice and she's not stopping until she gets it. But for some reason, and within our community, we antiquate success with how many toys and money and things you got. Sometimes in life, there's other things more important. This woman will never get her son back, no matter how much money you would have given her, no matter how many houses and stuff. And she didn't even get that much money. And then we go on from that tragedy to the next tragedy. And I think what I like about her is the fact that when we do go on to the next tragedy, she has already shown you and revealed to you parents out there, or you loved ones out there, what the blueprint is going to be in regards to how they're going to treat that case and your loved one in regards. You're going to see everybody coming to you, trying to get a check and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, is justice being done? Is your loved one being restored? Any of that. And she's calling it out just for what it is. And we need more people like that out there to stop being silent about how the system works and get us some justice so we can have some real change in America when it comes to Black people.
Janiyah Smith says, honestly, I'm sick of Miss Rice. She attacking all the wrong people. What about the folk in Ohio when she accepted a pay-eyed girl by? I feel that the Sean Kings, what's that other little girl, Tamika Mallory, I'm just be straight up with you. Someday they need to shut the fuck up, man. Because that shit is good. That shit look good what they doing. That shit look good. They really, I'm telling you, I done caught some locals doing the same things with GoFundMe, using these kids' names to line their pockets. I don't feel she wrong. And a lot of people will never feel what she feels because you've not lost your child. This is a dog fight to get justice. You've not lost your child. Yeah, I would agree. Don't take the money up front. Don't take the money up front. Get the justice first. But some people have taken the money. But that's still, the whole picture of it has nothing to do with an outside influence like Sean King doing the shit that he do. And everybody wants to give Sean a pass because Sean seems like he's really working for us. Sean working for his goddamn self.
So this is where I'll jump in. All right. So rightfully so, she's upset. There has been a lot of people who, have used not just her son's name. And it sounds like a lot of them don't even use his name anymore because she's asked them not to. But a lot of people have used the dead, the murdered, we'll call them that, use their names to make a bag. BLM is one of them. They're the originators of that, starting with that of Trayvon Martin. And that's how they really became prominent when Trayvon was murdered by George Zimmerman. Now, I will say this. I understand her being upset, and I like Tamika Mallory. Doesn't seem like, she's maybe getting a little bit on a commercial side, maybe. And Sean King, I'm a fan of Sean King. I don't have anything bad to say about Sean King because I will say this. I know a lot of people who talk mess about Sean King. They haven't done 1/10 of the jobs or the work that he has done for Black people. And I see people in here calling them talcum X and saying that he is not a Black man. He is a Black man. And that's the problem, I think, with us. See, I'm freezing up because it's like, they're like, cool down, D. That's the problem with us as Black people is we like to focus on stuff that's not really important. If the man say he is Black, he is Black. Plus, he'd already said that on his birth certificate, his white dad is listed because his mom had an affair and didn't think that, she was pregnant by the guy she had an affair with. So that's why his dad is listed as white on the birth certificate. But I do know that Sean does a lot of good things in this community. In fact, a lot of the cases that we hear about now, we wouldn't even hear about on a national and international level if it was not for Sean King. Now, the conversation that he had with Samira Rice, I haven't seen it. I was looking for it. I don't know where it's posted. So if somebody knows where it's posted, please let me know. I can't really speak on that. But I think, she's angry and she should be. But I think a lot of it is really misguided. And, calling him a white man, that's just really ugly. And at some point in time, I think people are going to start giving her what she's putting out. And I think a lot of people are trying to be respectful because she lost her son and it's hurtful, rightfully so. But, you know, to be calling people names and all of that, I mean, it's like at some point in time, you got to figure out what the real issue is. And like Tanaya said, I mean, she took a bag. She took a bag and, you know, did whatever she did with the money. But, and as far as Sean King, he's proven a copious amount of times with different accounting firms, a whole bunch of things, that he has not stolen any money. A lot of people are just going by hearsay, but nobody's really produced any hard and solid facts that this man has stolen money. In fact, he says that he struggles on a day-to-day basis to take care of his family because he doesn't take money. The book that he wrote, and I read, and I think it's an excellent book, and if people are interested in knowing about Sean King, you should read the book. He didn't make a dime off of that book. He gave the money away. And so you guys keep saying that he's a grifter and he's taking money, but nobody has proven that he has done that. So, I mean, I think, because I'm not one of those people that's going to sit up and argue rumors. I'm not going to argue rumors, and I'm not even going to, you know, get into that. I think we should deal with the facts as we know them, not as somebody has told us. I mean, like, again, the fact that she's calling him a white man, yeah, he's part white, but he claims himself to be black. Why are we even discussing that? And for those of you guys who talking about what he light-skinned, Master Farad Muhammad was light-skinned, Farrakhan is light-skinned, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is light-skinned, they got white blood, Malcolm X was light-skinned, y'all ain't talking stuff about them. So, I mean, let's be consistent.
Well, I want to be consistent because I ain't going to talk about his race. I'm going to call him a bitch. And I'm going to call him a bitch because there was a murder down in Harris County. There was a murder in Harris County. They could not locate the man that supposedly committed the murder. My team located the man in the jailhouse in Montgomery County. Now, I was back and forth communicating with him. So me, I like to have the facts, and I'll be glad to bring up them emails. I'm communicating with this sucker back and forth. Sean King, the sucker. The bitch tried to take credit for us finding the fucking man. I don't trust that motherfucker. He can be a wiggle. He can be white. He can be black. He full of shit, and he a bitch on my watch.
So I want to just say this, you know, you're more entitled to your opinion to call him a bitch, but do people say that you always deliver on the stuff that you do? I'm sure there's a lot of people who, wait, let me finish, calm down, let me finish. We can't hear you. We can't hear you. We can't hear. So let me finish what I'm saying. I'm not saying you do or you don't, but you know, nobody's perfect 100% of the time. So you're entitled to your opinion, whatever the case is. But I mean, let's talk about the stuff that he does do.
I tell you what, I ain't gonna talk about the shit that Biden don't do no more. When you fuck up, you own your fuck up. What he did on that particular day is tried to own something that he had nothing to do with. I had no respect for him from that day forward. At all. And I get it. People like him. They have every right to like him. So if they're entitled to their opinion, I'm entitled to mine. And mine says that he's a bitch on my watch.
Well, let me just say this. You know, good points on both sides. There's good points on both sides. And, you know, depending on how you do it, everybody's got an opinion. And opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got them, and sometimes they stink, right? But here's the thing. On Samira's side, the mom, she lost a son. I don't see how anybody could sit here and say, oh, she took a bag, she took this, whatever. She lost her child, and that child is never coming back. And you know, if this woman screams to the top of her lungs until her dying day, she has every right to do that, because a system that was put into place and a police department that is sworn to protect and served within 2 seconds with no justification murdered her child. So, you know, no matter how she lashes out, I'm gonna give her that. I mean, you know, she has every right to do that. And her child was a 6, 7-year-old, whatever, 9-year-old or something like that. 12. He's 12. He was still a child, basically a child. So I'll give her that. As far as, you know, Sean King, I don't really follow him too much, but I also agree with you, Demetra. He does certain things. I do certain things. Jerry does certain things. And we don't see everything that's being done. But the point of the matter is, however we do it, when it's going to benefit everybody and it does a great thing, we need to applaud that. And then when the shit comes out and it's bad shit, we need to own it as well.
No, absolutely. It's all about ownership. And again, I'm not saying she's wrong for how she feels. I've never lost a child, so I can't speak to that. But I just think, her, trying to, say that he's not a black man, that's just silly. And, at some point in time, you're going to start losing the focus of a lot of people. And I actually saw this on a blog or somewhere, and it's like 95% of the people were disagreeing with her because it's like, okay, like, I get that you're mad, but now you're starting to call people names and all of that kind of stuff. It's like you're gonna lose a lot of sympathy with that. And when you go on an attacking spree, if you will, your cause does lose steam because it just seems like you're mad, And I always say, along with getting mad, take action. Now, I'm not saying she's not taking action, but all the name calling and getting all angry and stuff. I mean, I don't know. I can't tell people what to do. But, from what I have seen, I know that Sean King does the work. Now, has he taken credit for something he didn't do? Sure. I mean, I don't know the man personally. I'm sure he has. But, I see a lot of people always trying to discredit Sean. Sean has a large following, and he does a lot of great work for people and bringing awareness and raising a lot of money, including that of an inmate that served, almost 40 years for something he didn't do, got out, and he, along with his platform and the people that follow him, I was one of them, gave money to help raise a man to buy a house and a car and money in his account so he can live out the rest of his life, a whole house paid off. That's not the first time that he has done something like that for Black people. So we as Black people too, and I want to say this, we got to get out of the habit of shitting on everybody because they don't do everything the way we want them to do it. That's why Marcus Garvey is not here. That's why Malcolm X, people are still talking about the stuff that he was telling us to do back then. The Honorable Louis Farrakhan, Elijah Muhammad. Every time, something that was not perfect to Negroes' liking, we jumped on the bandwagon to demonize them and to drag them down. And Gary, I know you can speak that people do that to you. Nobody is perfect. But I think when we get to the point of trying to totally discredit somebody, even though they do good work, I just think it kind of does lose a lot of credibility in and of itself.
You're right. And therefore, we shouldn't drag back people down.
Hold on. And Robin, I'm not saying, and I said that, and see, this is where y'all got to tune up on your listening skills. I did not say she shouldn't be mad. I said she has every right to be mad because I never lost a child. I can never speak to that and tell anybody not to be mad. So I did not tell her she should not be mad. I want to be clear. I did not say that.
Oh, I think Sean's a good guy. I'm ready for the next subject. My mama said, if you ain't got nothing good to say, don't say nothing at all.
And I'm going to say this too. Like I said, when I turn 50, I don't give a fuck what people say about what I got to say. I think we need to be adults and have conversations without getting all emotional. We are having a conversation.
We have every right to get emotional when it comes to our children.
Okay, but we're having a conversation. So again, you ain't listening. I didn't say that she shouldn't be emotional about her child. I said that her delivery about her message is a little bit skewed when she gets calling people names. That's what I said. I didn't say she shouldn't get emotional about her child. I'm saying me, you, and Donovan on this platform shouldn't be getting all emotional, jumping up and down. I'm not getting mad at you when you're saying your opinion. I'm speaking my opinion. That's what they're for. Their opinion makes the world go round. If we all share the same brain, then we're boring people, right? I don't think these people would be on here listening to us if we all agreed. I don't agree with the way she went about it. But that doesn't mean that I'm mad about it. I'm just having a conversation.
There was an activist in Louisiana with the Bobby Charles murder, the kid that was in the sugarcane field. And I have a difference of opinion of a lot of things, But come to find out the Negro was using the kid name to blow up this GoFundMe. And I called the man because I had a difference of opinion. And I told him, if you get another dime in his name, I'm going to put my foot in your ass, boy. That ain't what we supposed to do. People don't get the right to tell people how to be angry, especially when it comes to their children. And somebody taking your child's name and profiting off your child's name. We supposed to have a flower and, like she said, a donut and coffee conversation about that. No, everybody's not playing. I know I felt some kind of way when that dude tried to take my information and make himself look good. But see, there's a higher power. The sketch that was put out, they couldn't find the guy. We found him, Donovan. But see, the higher power don't sleep either. Sean, you went national with what you thought was a scoop. And then you looked like a fucking fool when it wasn't a man. I laughed about it, but I still had a problem with you, boy. So whether he black or white, whenever I see him, I'm going to make you smell this cologne. Respect the game, homeboy.
Well,
Donovan, jump on there.
No,
Don't be scared.
I'm listening and I hear both sides of it, and I agree with both sides because everybody has their journey and their road they're going to take. Now, people always say that I'm real petty because I won't let shit go. And that's true. Because once you get me there, I'm cutting it back to the fat meat. You know what I mean? Until I'm satisfied. I hate when people say, oh, you shouldn't get that upset. You shouldn't get that. That's what you would do in the situation. In this situation, I'm going to burn this bitch down. I'm going to go first blood John Rambo on the whole fucking town. That's how I'm going to handle it. And so I see both sides of it. A person, I don't know why in the Black community, we are so into this color stuff. If you're light-skinned, if you're dark-skinned, if you're brown-skinned, white folks see us all as one thing. Negroes, black, period. So I never was into the color thing. But take from what Sean King does bring to the table. That's the good stuff he does. That's great. However, again, this lady, and I have to sympathize with the mother, and I've never lost a child either. I have to sympathize with the mother. Now that everybody has made a bag off of her, where's the help? So I could understand her frustration of just, hey, I got to do something because nobody's calling, nobody's checking up on her except like people at the local levels and stuff, people like Jerry and people like that. But, they gave her little money. All the lawyers took it, whatever. Her child's not coming back. And now people are capitalizing off of money because of her son is involved in this national phenomena of murdering Black people, so.
Again, never did I say that she should not be mad. I can't tell her what to do. I'm only in charge of me. But what I would not do is have a conversation where, people cannot control their emotions. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that we should be able to have a civil conversation. And unfortunately, but for me, I think fortunately, we don't agree on everything. That's okay. But, I don't think it should go, off to left field and we should just cut the conversation off because we don't like what's being said. I mean, unless it's time for another topic, but I'm gonna stand 10 toes down on it. I think, she should go about another way. I'm not saying not to be angry, but, calling people names and all that other stuff, it does cause your campaign or your issues to lose steam. And I don't talk about it a lot, but I happen to have a master's degree in public relations and a BA in communication. And I know that when you get off topic and you start talking about things that aren't really related to what your cause is, people do not take you seriously as they would have if you just stick to your topic. I mean, to me, calling him, a white man, I don't know if that's below the belt or not. I don't think Sean is bothered by that, but I'm just saying, I think it's uncalled for, if you will.
But think about this. Are we talking about that right now?
What do you mean?
Are we talking about her calling him a white man? You know, whatever she said or did toward him, is that not putting her back into the spotlight of the issue?
Do you want to be in the spotlight and have your case or your situation be taken seriously? Or do you want people to say, oh, now she tripping?
Well, I don't know, but sometimes bad press. I'm not exactly sure, but we also know sometimes bad press is just as good as good press.
Well, that can be true depending on what it is, but I wouldn't be wanting to play bad press with the death of my child. So again, I'm not saying she should be angry. She should never stop being angry that her child was taken from her in such a savage manner, and the savage got away with murdering her child. But I'm just saying, you know, sometimes I think we go too far with, you know, trying to discredit people who are actually doing something. Again, nobody is perfect. I don't know the situation would happen with Shaun King, but I know most of our leaders, and a lot of them, I'm not saying Shaun King is a leader, but he's good at what he does. They have been discredited for something. And a lot of times their whole movement is dilapidated over somebody being salty about something or somebody saying this, that, and the other. So that's really my issue with it right there.
Okay, so moving on. You guys want to run up the topic of this pastor today walked into federal prison in, I think it was, I don't even think they made him stay in Houston. He went to Indiana, I believe. And he walked into prison, and he's a pastor that was known down there in Houston, and he was a mega pastor. So, Gary, could you kind of give us some enlightenment on the church?
Pastor Kirby John Caldwell reported to a minimum to low security prison in Beaumont, Texas today. He has a 6-year sentence. But what I don't want to dwell on, I don't want to dwell on what the pastor did. I want to talk about the good things he did, because I'm not going to drag this black man. I need to talk about how many lives he saved, how many houses he built. I need to talk about all that. I want to talk about the money that he poured into the community, how he built these different buildings to help the homeless people. I want to talk about all that, because I can't dwell off into what he did just that one time. And, you know, he took them poor people money and messed over them old folks' retirement. I think I should give him a pass. I got to give him a pass for that, for all the good things that he did. Let me put it to you like this here, because I stand 10 toes down too. Fuck Kirby John. I said it when it first happened. The big hat gang can get mad. He deserves to go under the prison system for what he did to his parishioners, as well as those senior citizens. Where you going might be low security, brother, but it ain't no walk in the park. I firmly remember when the pandemic started, the bunch of people dying in that prison and they wouldn't let them out. So hopefully your good outweighs your bad, because you're going to pay for what you learned them 6 years. Don't drop the soap, Negro. Hallelujah. Amen.
You know, in that case, though, basically, did they ever recover the money and, you know, and restored those people to, you know, to where they're supposed to be? Or did they just keep it rolling, got one guy as a fall guy and let him go?
He took care of the restitution side. That was part of the reason that they didn't throw the book at him. And he is, it doesn't, even though he paid it, it doesn't excuse to me what he did. And the way that it was done with those seniors, and people still believe in him. That's their choice. If they love him, they love him. I mean, the dude, according to what I understand, he did a lot. I mean, he even presided over one of the Bush's daughter's weddings. And the one thing that he needed to learn is when he got in trouble, all his good political friends came up missing. Every last one of them came up missing.
So Jackson Lee didn't show?
They ain't doing nothing, man. Kirby John going to penitentiary. And from day one, I said it, and people want to talk crazy to me, cuss me out. Man, when them people show up, they already got the case. He going to penitentiary, go do them 6 years. On 6, he'll probably do 5-8. He'll probably do 5-8. But he right down the street in Beaumont, Texas, so he ain't that far.
Well, unlike Sean King, Kirby John, is that his name? He committed a crime and he was found guilty of it, and he is being sentenced, to prison. So that was kind of an apples and orange, sarcasm. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, keep going.
That was more like an apples and orange comparison, but I mean, he's found.
I didn't compare him. I said I didn't want to drag the black man for something that he did.
Gary, come on now. I mean, some days I could be real slow, but I picked up what you put down.
We're not gonna agree every day. Most days we do.
I know, but I
mean, why would you be salty about me not wanting to drag Kirby? See, Kirby, I'm not a fan of Kirby's.
I'm not trying to drag him either. I'm just saying he went to jail for a crime that he committed and he was found guilty of. I don't see, really the comparison. I'm sure he's done a lot of great things, but unfortunately he got caught and, he's now remanded to the state penitentiary. So, I mean,
I just want to remain consistent because I've been dragging him since they first grabbed him.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got to do what you got to do. So, I mean, I don't see necessarily what there is to discuss other than when you do something wrong and you're caught for it, then oftentimes you have to pay for it. And that doesn't absolve the man of God. There's a lot of men of God that do things and that don't get caught. But when they do, they got to pay the price. I know in the Bible it says, you have to follow the laws of Caesar, mean the government and all of that. And you try to sometimes keep things in the church, but it got outside of the church and he's, paying for what he did. So I don't really have anything to say about it either. I mean, I just wouldn't get in the habit of dragging him because I wouldn't want nobody to drag me. God forbid I was in that situation.
Well, let me ask you this, Demetra, real quick, especially when it comes to the pastors and powernomics. And this is one of the problems in our community that we're having when it comes to these pulpit pimps and our community. So could you draw the correlation in powernomics between the Black church and our economic standing in the community of getting things done?
Well, just briefly, the Powernomics program actually belongs to that of Dr. Claude Anderson. And, he talks about ways that we as Black people should practice group economics in order to help bring ourselves from the bottom of the totem pole and to stop being a permanent underclass, which he said we were going to be that over about 20 years or longer than that at this point. It seems like that we are a permanent underclass. But he also talks about the church raising, billions of dollars into the hundreds of billions of dollars since the 1980s, and the communities that they're supposed to serve, the people and the neighborhoods showed nothing for it. And so it is said that if the church was actually to give some of that money and pour it back into the community, they could single-handedly create businesses and help the Black community escape some of the things that we go through in regards to poverty and not having jobs and things like that. And so, if you want me to tie that to Kirby John, I don't know how much money he makes in the church. I'm sure it's a lot. It sounds like he has a pretty big church. And I don't know what he does. I don't know anything about the man, but if he's not in the habit of giving back to the community, as with a lot of other churches, and then, why do we go to those churches? Why do we go to the churches if you cannot get help from the church that you give your time and service and money to?
Let the panel say amen. Amen. Touch your neighbor and say, neighbor, fuck Kirby John. Say, neighbor, fuck any pastor like Kirby John. I want you to say that. Say amen. Can the church say amen?
Amen.
I want you to understand that. When you walk that walk and you laying around here and you selling pussy in the church, God gonna deal with you. When you're stealing the parishioners' money, God gonna deal with you. He gonna deal with you. But I think we need to give him a pass. I think we all fall down, but then we get back up. I think we need to give him a pass. I think we need to put our hands on him with the holy oil from the fried chicken of last night and rub it on his head and pluck a couple of feathers off and say, Kirby, you gave the money back. That's not send him to hell. That's not send him to hell. And we put him in a bucket with Biden and Kamala Harris. We put him in a bucket with R. Kelly and Bill Cosby. And we forgive all these sinners. We need to forgive all these sinners. Because all they've ever done is fuck over the black man. That is not a sin in itself. You can't find the words in the Bible. Is it in chapter 9? Verse 3, thou shalt not fuck over the black man. If it's not in the Bible, they can get away with it. Can the church say amen?
Amen. Amen. And that's the thing, within the black community, what I don't understand about this particular case, and I haven't really read up on it as much as I need to, but he didn't do anything that local pastors don't do. I know people who don't pay their lights. They can't pay their light bill. They can't pay their kids' tuition. Their rent is due. And the church says, well, I'd like to help you, but, if you sow a seed of faith in the church. So, what's the difference between, what he did and what pastors in the black community do every day, every Sunday?
The difference between what pastors do in the black community is there's a divide, and there's a way of how we're going to magnify it. They'll put Kirby on TV today, but they ain't saying nothing about them Catholic priests down in Galveston sleeping with them little boys. Why they ain't blowing that out the water? Now, we do have some issues on the black pastor side because you got black pastors that done slept with little boys right now in the church that's running around with politicians. You got black pastors running around with black prominent politicians that are certified sex offenders and have to sign up in the registry. They doing that right now. They hang out with the mayor and all that right now. You see what I'm saying? You got pastors out there that's sleeping with their congregation that's running around with prominent politicians. See, all of them got skeletons in their closets. Well, people say, well, no, Mr. Monroe, no. 2 months ago, I had to call the pastor and tell him, say, man, something came across my desk, dog. I mean, you looking real bad right now. And it was sexually related. A prominent African-American pastor. Now, are they human or should they hold themselves to a higher regard? But it's something about these pastors and the fact that when they get caught up, we want to let them make it. We don't want to call them out like that. You see what I'm saying? And I don't know what the effect would be, but it is what it is. Everything I just said is the truth. And if any one of you pastors get the bucket, I'll throw your goddamn name out there.
So, somebody came to me a couple weeks ago, and I'm not going to say any names, but they dropped something really, really heavy on me as well and asked me would I be a part of exposing this very prominent person, a world-known person, okay, internationally known. And I went to somebody I trusted with the information and asked for their advice.
I said no.
It wasn't you. Because I don't want the person that I talk to think that I talk to other people. So it wasn't Donovan. And I decided not to do it. And I decided not to do it because, for one, I have no way of verifying any of that stuff. And I'm speaking for me, Demetra K. I'm not speaking for nobody else. But I don't like to be in a habit of exposing people, if you will, and I don't have the knowledge of either side of it. Because a lot of times when we do that, and one of my favorite quotes in regards to that, and I don't want to liken it to gossip because I don't know if it is or it isn't, but a movie that I like a lot called Doubt, with Philip Seymour Hoffman. He was playing a Catholic priest who was accused of doing something. And he says that gossip is like cutting a feather pillow open and allowing the feathers to go into the wind. And he says, now try to go collect every last one of those feathers when you find out and related it to gossip that it's not true. He says it's impossible to do because it's already out there, and a lot of people are going to believe what is being said. And I'm speaking about things that have no factual basis. And I'm speaking about me. I ain't speaking about you, Gary, because I can already see it. I'm speaking about me. So we get in the habit of sometimes doing these exposés, and then we have to walk a lot of things back because we find out there was no truth, or maybe somebody was disgruntled, or whatever the case is, right? So I think we should be very careful and making sure what we do with our platform, our voices, and our influence. And that's just me.
Well, me, and I'm just speaking for me, I expose. And I don't walk nothing back because I'm going to go do the homework. But what I don't do, when somebody comes to me, I got this and that, well, put it out there. Why I need to do your dirty work for you? I give you a prime example. And it came to us. We had our data be tested. Damian Thaddeus Jones. We say we're not touching that shit. If you want to do it, you do it. You go do what you need to do. But me, I do the research. I go do the research on these people, man. And I'm gonna be honest with you. It's a lot of them. I just let it go. I mean, I can do this shit every day with all the stuff that I know. It's a waste of time because the way I feel about exposing people, when the general public is comfortable with their situation, it doesn't matter what you say. Some things have to be exposed. Some things you just have to expose. But most of these people are comfortable with what they hear, what they dealing with. Now, they wouldn't be comfortable if me and Donovan did it. But if it's their favorite pastor or their friend or whoever, they good with that, or they sorrow or they frat brother, they'll rock with it. They'll just let it go. So me, honestly, I like being able to tell the truth. And here's my thing. I've been exposing for 9 years. Because that's what I do. That ain't for everybody to do. You got to have some guts to do that some days. I know, and I do it right here live on air with an orange peel. Which one of you politicians want to file a slanderism suit on me? Make sure you think about I get discovery in the courtroom before you do it. I will make you look like the fool that you are. In 9 years, ain't nobody never threatened to sue me. Nothing. And I done put out some heinous stuff on these people. But it was all the truth. And they knew I knew. And all I tell people is when you get to that point, Donovan, if I know what only Donovan knows, how many other people know? You sure you want to play with me? That's why they've never took me in the courtroom. Because they know I know the truth on some of the stuff they do. The good thing about Kirby John is a lot of those people, 100% of them got their money back. They got their money back. So now you just have to deal with the fact that you violated the law, go in there, do your time, and he'll probably get released for, with everything going on. He might get a good conditional release. And then he'll get out and go right back to his church and be right back where he was. So it don't do no good for people to want to drag him because they gonna rock with him. Shit, if Johnny Bonder can walk around here, one of the biggest dope dealers in the history of Texas, talking about he a pastor. If you ain't from here, I know where y'all from. His name was Harry O. That's who Binder used to get his dope from. And now Binder walking around here talking about praise the Lord. I don't know what church he got, but I ain't going to it.
And that's the thing. A lot of people, we get scared when somebody threatens litigation against us, right? In the city that I do, and in the district that I'm in, a lot of politics always call me, email me, text me, whatever, because my thing is public because I ran for office. And we're going to sue you. We're going to do this. Just like the 5-star said, that is the blueprint. I want you to sue me so that I could come out with all of my stuff in discovery. I've never been sued in the time, and I haven't been doing this as long as 5-star, but here in California, I got involved after I got out of the service in 2014. And I haven't been sued yet. And even though people will still call me a liar, and the people say this and they say that and say this, the developer that I'm fighting right now, he's been in so many lawsuits right now, proving everything that I've said and others in this area. It's unbelievable. But because he has deep pockets and he's controlled by the Trump brothers of Florida, not related to the other Trumps, but the Trump brothers of Florida, I've exposed this man's a front man. He isn't as rich as people claim him to be and all this other stuff. But that's what you want. You want to go to discovery so that you can, when you're in discovery, you can ask for everything that you want, that you think is pertinent to your case. If you want to get to his money, get to the taxes, you can do all of that. So when somebody threatens you with a lawsuit and you're in the right or whatever, welcome that lawsuit. That is a good thing.
Well, I'll ask if it's gossip or is it exposure? I like exposure side. I like the exposure side. And when I expose you, I make you promises. HISD, if you keep playing with me, a whole bunch of y'all gonna go to jail. What it felt like that morning when the feds invaded the building. What it felt like when the COO had the helicopters around his house. Don't play with me. Because by the time I've dug and I found it, they already got all the information on top of whatever else they found. Some of these people need to be exposed for what they are doing to people. Let me put it to you like this here. I'm going to tell you right now because I don't want the world. Look, I got a ticket for no front license plate a couple years ago. I ain't never get a court date because of the pandemic. I don't know if I got a warrant right now. Man, please vote for me because I might have a warrant. Now expose me. That's a walk in the park to what some of these people are doing to us. Boy, we really expose some shit around here. I bet you, Donovan, because you're pouring me. If I start exposing the shit that I have, and Dimitri, you could just be the person that you and Walter deal with the money. We could start a whole goddamn porn production company with the shit that these people doing around here. You little nasty mother. Well, y'all know how y'all is. Whole bunch of y'all. They wrong, bro.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, didn't mean to cut you off, but in a democratic society, how do you say national security and all this secrecy is beneficial to a democratic society? A democratic society is everything is supposed to be in the open and it's supposed to be shown. So transparency is there. But they use these tropes like, oh, well, personal privacy. If you're a public official, you have no personal privacy. You have none of that stuff. It's all done because you went and said, I'm going to serve the people, which means now you are people property. So, we really got to understand that and kind of understand what's going on and what's not going on. I put in the link right there, if you guys see it, the actual FBI raid of my city hall that took place because of some of the stuff that we did. And everybody that was involved in that case, all except one, is still running around my city. And the developer is still there as well. So.
Hello, Jalen. How are you? I like people who are very smart and who actually, bring up some terms. A lot of people who claim to be journalists do not know. And she used the word yellow journalism, which is to expose people. And I'm not saying either one of you guys do that, but expose people for sensational purposes, right? And that goes on a lot, especially in today's time because of the internet. Stories move really quick. Back in our day, there was a morning and an evening news, newspaper and on television. And you had to wait until those things came on to get breaking news. But so the point that I made is that it's so competitive. People often jump the gun and publish a story before they know all that there is to know. And it does become yellow journalism, and it has ruined the lives of a lot of innocent people. Now, yes, I agree that people should be exposed when all of the ducks line up in a row and all of that. And I just want to, somebody brought up Damian Jones. And I agree. We jumped the gun on that. When I learned that there was more to learn about the story, I decided I didn't want to continue talking about it because I didn't have all of the information up front, you know, when we first talked about it, had I had all the information, I wouldn't have agreed to talk about it or, you know, bring it up at all. And so, you know, I've taken it on the chin for that. And it became a very valuable lesson for me. But yeah, people really should get familiar with that term because we see it all day, every day, especially on the internet. People dropping stories on people just to get, you know, likes and views and to say they were the first ones to do it. But like I said, people come to me with stuff all the time, and I value my integrity above all. So that's just me.
Me, y'all, I'm about to retire from all this shit. I've been fighting for 9 goddamn years, man. And a whole bunch of fucking days, man, I've been fighting by my fucking self. I done fought machines. I done fought billion-dollar bullies. And I always end up standing on my feet. But I'm really getting tired. I really am. And I think that I'm going to shy away from certain things after today. Because whether you know it or not, I sleep an average of 2 hours a night. I have to have another surgery on the 28th. While you doing what you do, I got 5-6 bottles of pills I need to take. In the middle of all that, I'm in the middle of an election run. Top watchdog in the state of Texas. You know, all this stuff that's going on. And on top of that, I relish when people come after me. I relish it. I've had to sit on this program and defend me against bullshit. But they ain't no better than me some days. And I love tearing their asses up. Because they supposed to be. When you become a public figure, that's why you really can't sue nobody like that. Because you're a public figure. You're a public figure. That's why dirty politics. We ain't gonna shoot you no bullshit. We're gonna show you the real. This week, the Evelyn factor. Evelyn Dupree. We're gonna put your information out there. And everything that come with it. What can they say? What they gonna do? Take us to court for telling the truth? Oh, I mean, it is what it is. But for me, alcohol or not, because I keep one close to me. This for all my homies. For all my homies. That I done threw them niggas under the bus for.
Let me say this too. And I feel like I have to preface what I'm going to say by saying I'm speaking for myself. Doing what I've been doing for the last, I've been doing this for a while. I'll say 2014 or so, okay? I've had people, because they disagreed with me or I didn't agree with something they did or what they, wanted to say. I've had people say, recently some chick came on here talking about I'm going to expose you. So I think that term gets thrown around a lot when we don't like something somebody says or what they're doing. I've had people say that to me. I'm going to expose you. Like what is this, Jerry Springer? And so I'm not one of those people who are afraid because there's nothing to expose, but that's a way a lot of times to cripple people from, speaking their truth. I don't want to say it's the truth because it's subjective, right? But it's a way to cripple people from speaking their truth, from people who want to stifle them and put a muzzle on them. And so that's why I kind of, feel a certain type of way about people throwing this word exposure out like a got you thing, because people tried to do it to me, because they didn't like what I'm saying or what I'm doing. So, I think we need to, I should be careful because I'm speaking about me. I should be careful when I go around throwing the word exposure around, because I know when you walk into a development room and try to develop other people's photos, your shit gets exposed too. So we should be very careful when it comes to throwing that term around.
Why don't we just make an agreement? We don't expose anybody on this show. I'll be glad to do it on the Hood CNN. Let's not expose anybody on this show. So the hood CNN is where I'm going to drag you suckers at. And I'll be glad. You see them? You see them scars on them knuckles? I've been a one-man army for 9 years. Ain't shit gonna change, y'all. I'll be glad to expose them. So we won't expose anybody on this show. Let's just talk about the topics at hand and let's go from there. I'm cool with that. But if you motherfuckers out there think you ain't gonna get exposed, you must have forgot God put air in me every morning. The only way you won't is when he stop. Because I'm gonna tear y'all heads off.
Now I have to agree with both of you guys, but I'm also gonna
come on, man.
No, I'm gonna have to say this. Everybody, because remember, Demetria, we got into it about a certain path that I wanted to follow in regards to my political run. Was I right? Was I wrong? It's irrelevant. It's the path that I wanted to take. And that's what I'm saying. Everybody can't be on the same path. Everybody's going to hell on that path. Only few will go take that narrow, whatever, hard road that they're going to do. So what I've been saying lately to a lot of people is, as Black people, regardless if they're on this road, that road, that road, that road, and this road, if as long as they're trying to get to the same journey and clean up the bullshit and, and basically have the same outcome, we might not like it, but, just keep it to yourself, but let them go on that path because you need people like that. A few good men. The last part of it, what did Jessup say? You want me on that wall. You need me on that wall. No, you need people like that to do what they do. And it makes it a lot better for everybody else. If we all did the same blueprint, this is why Black people, we're in the position we are in today, because we want you to be peaceful. We want you to get into the democratic system and vote and vote and vote. And we've been doing that shit and it's not working. We're going to have to let other people do it another way. And that's what I'm saying. Everybody's got to do it their own way.
I want to read Jalen. When you have a platform, you have to keep your integrity in mind. One wrong expose could ruin your reputation. That's the game. So I'm going to tell my daughter something. There was a private conversation with the Houston Independent School District in the upper level about 4 years ago. I don't give a damn how mad y'all get, but if y'all fuck with my child, you're going to see a different beast. Nobody never bothered you. As much hell as I raised, they clearly understood. They better not fuck with my child. Now I go to the next comment, and I love it because I know what it takes some days. 5-star comes from 3703. And if it was not because of his boldness, all the inner city Black schools would have been charter schools. Much love for Gary. Let me tell you something. On the days that I'm feeling weak and I'm tired and I got to get into the boardroom and I got to expose these people, say, man, damn the comments right there that keep me ready. I've been on a mission all week, Donovan, for the last 3 days, calling everybody and their mama. When you going to open up City Hall? When you going to open up the school board? When you going to open up the county courthouse? It's time for us to go back in. I'm ready to go back in because I got something I got to do. But I can't do it on a virtual meeting. I want to bust you in front of everybody. And that's what it is. So thank you for your comment. And I appreciate it. But some people don't even understand that comment that you just made. If it wasn't no 5-star, raising all the hell that he raised, doing what he do, your little nigga kids would be on a whole different educational path right now.
Jalen, before you leave, I say you said good night, everyone. And I want to reread your comment. You say when you have a platform, you have to keep your integrity in mind. One wrong expose can ruin your reputation. That's the game. She's right. It's happened for a lot of people. Got out the gate and was wrong about certain things, and ended up ruining their reputation and what they were doing. And you're absolutely right. I think you should probably look into a career in the public relations field, because it takes people like yourself and, like myself to help clients understand there's are ways to go about doing certain things. But, once you put your reputation on the line and it takes a hit, it's hard to get it back. And I say this quite often. Warren Buffett says a corporation can afford to lose money and lots of it, but it cannot afford to lose reputation, not 1 ounce. And so I think, when you do this type of work, you're in the public eye and stuff, it does come with responsibility. You do have to be careful. And I'm speaking to myself, okay? You do have to be careful of the things that you do and you say. Because after a while, and that's kind of where I was going with the whole Samira Rice thing, after a while, people just stop taking you seriously because it's like, okay, here they go again type of thing. So, there's a way to get what you need to get out there without it being so austere and corrosive, if that makes any sense. But good observation, though.
A very wise young woman.
As I said, I spoke with Tamira's mama yesterday, and she watches all the time. She don't say nothing. So if you're watching, I'll lock and load with you any day of the week. Any day of the week. Because like my man said last night, spilled blood don't dry. And Tamira's blood is still on that playground until we get justice. So however we got to get it, we going to get it. And I make all of y'all a promise. I'm telling you, sooner or later it's going to happen. When I run into you, Sean, I'm going to make you smell this cologne for what you did to me. And that's a promise on my dead mama.
I mean, at the end of the day, what does that do?
It gives me so self-satisfaction.
Oh, so that's a self thing. Okay, well,
it's all about self.
Got it. All right. Well, I mean, it's about yourself. But yeah, so anyway, like I said, I mean, I don't think she's wrong for being mad. Again, I can never tell somebody how to feel. But, I just know, too, there's ways to go about it. But, there's no cookie cutter to doing certain things. It's, at the end of the day, do what you like. And Tanaya says, I thought y'all were getting together in Ohio. What happened? So I guess she's speaking to you, Gary.
There's a rally this Friday. I won't be there. I have to have surgery Monday. And I don't feel like hopping planes like that. But trust me, everything she do, I know. So it is what it is. I mean, y'all that support me, you support me. If you don't support me, I really don't care. I got work to do. I try to do it to the best of my ability. But I mean, I'm finna have some fun. Because on the hood CNN, I am finna tear these people apart, man. I am going to tear these people apart. Just because I can, and I got the information. I normally just sit on it until I need it. But it's too much going on for us to keep operating, the way that we operating, and you not really know who these people are. These people need to be exposed for who they are. And the only thing I can tell anybody, this ain't LA. These motherfuckers far more corrupt than you could ever imagine. And what they doing to us, we either comfortable with it or we ain't. And I ain't comfortable with it.
Yep. At this point, exactly. I mean, like I said, how many of you guys remember that movie by Spike Lee? I think his cousin did it. It was called The Drop Squad. You got to have people like that just do that kind of stuff, because that's how the enemy operates. That's how the military operates. We would have never won World War II if we didn't have secret people doing dirty shit. Simple as that. And that's how you got to operate. But like I said, I'll never tell a man how he's supposed to eat and what he's supposed to do and how he should do it. But we need everybody on deck. That's just my point of the matter. Everybody's valid. I understand Demetrius' point. I understand 5 Stars' point. I'm more so 5 Stars side of it in dealing what I deal with and what I do here. Thus, I'm a very feared person in my district and in the politics of it. I'm very feared because if I say something that this person's dirty or this person's that, I haven't been proven wrong yet. And that's what they're afraid of. So, and that's why I'm very careful who I endorse and all this other stuff, because I can endorse you, but that might not be good for you. If you get an endorsement from me, you might lose votes. So I'm that guy that sits on the fringes, and I sit there and I just watch, and I watch what's going on. And any candidate that comes out of the bushes, I introduce myself and I let them know what I do. And I'm going to research them, and then I'm going to throw all of their information out there for everybody else to judge, because I believe in a democratic society, you have to show all your cards so that people could make an educated decision.
Yes, indeed, Tanaya. You says, I'm going to say it again. We need allies within our community, period. A difference of opinion never hurts. Now, I totally agree with it. And I think people should be entitled to their opinions, you know. And for me, I'm just not big on the whole exposure thing. I think the truth needs to be told about people. I'm not saying that. That's just not how I go about it, because I don't personally like that type of attention on myself. I like to move in silence when I do things. So, I mean, to each his own. Everybody has their own way of delivering what it is they want to do. But, you know, again, you're right. A difference of opinion never hurts. It actually makes the world a lot more interesting.
I'm still trying to figure out how there hasn't been a trial for Gerald Goins. What happened to a speedy trial?
Yeah, what is that? 3 years or something going on? 3 or 4 years?
Let me put it to you like this here. The DA said today that they've concluded the investigation into the Hardy Street raid. Now, either I'm going to tell the truth or I'm not going to put it out there. I'm going to put it out there for you, Kim, because this is how I feel. I feel, District Attorney Kim Arden, that you are full of shit. You have yet to indict Marcia Todd, former lieutenant, who gave the order for Goins to go to that house with his team and murder those people. You have failed to indict Marcia Todd because Todd's daughter was on meth and you sent them to the wrong house. I don't have to say it. If you got a problem with it, Miss DA, sue me. You know what I'm talking about. I have a problem with you never locating Goins' personal cell phone so that you can see the texts between him and Todd. You let Marcia Todd walk. You let her walk. And you can best believe that I ain't white. But when it's time for you to run again, I'm going to put the muscle behind the streets and you can get your ass on. You let a certified killer go today when you close that case. You let Marcia Todd go. I've been right about everything else. How in the fuck am I wrong about Todd? You let her make it. Maybe it's the relationship with U.S. Marshal Gary Blankenship, who's her daughter's godfather. Y'all go hide in the corner. Because, Madam DA, I'm 2 steps ahead of you. You closed that case knowing that you let the main culprit go that gave the order. Doesn't it make sense, Donovan, to get the person that gave the order?
Yeah, the fish rots from the head down.
Exactly. But you let that woman go. Kathy Swilly wasn't lying. Y'all been fabricating evidence up there.
Yeah, and then the cell phone is really irrelevant. They're supposed to subpoena the cell company to get the numbers and the transcripts. So why they haven't done that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So yeah, there's something going on.
You have to understand that this one case, with everything that's tied to it with Goins and his partner, Steve Bryant, if it's done correctly, will bankrupt the city of Houston. It will bankrupt the city of Houston. Not just the case, but all the bogus cases that Goins threw on people. We're talking about
what, a couple hundred?
A couple hundred. But we talking about thousands.
So technically, from the time that he was in the police department, they have to go back all the way from he initially. Wow.
Talking about thousands. You would bankrupt this city. So they don't know how to deal with it, but they let the main one go. Marsha Todd, I said it and I ain't taking it back. Kim Og, you full of shit, and that's what it is with me.
Right. I mean, I'm not, too abreast on what's going on with that case, so I really don't have anything to say about that. But may the wrong or the people who are doing the wrong get what they deserve. At the end of the day, I was just reading this last comment. Raw Naked Truth says, "I missed the hood CNN. One thing I can say, whoever is Monroe's, I think, intel." And the research he do, Monroe is the racehorse, quote unquote, hangs around the educational field. He is like an attorney before the degree. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, but like I said, if it wasn't for people like the 5-star, no patting myself on the back, people like myself and stuff like this, some of these cases wouldn't even, they'd just be swept right under the rugs. Just right under the rug, because people just go on to the next tragedy. And that's just so sad in our community that we are just so quick. It's what Demetra used to tell me all the time, the appeal to authority. We talk about the white man, but yet we subdue to their unjust laws. We appeal to their unjust laws instead of doing something about it. So, yeah.
I just do my part. And I've been doing my part. People like, well, he do it for publicity. When the last time I've done a press conference? It's been years. I used to do press conferences every day because that's what I thought I had to do. It helped build up the reputation. I ain't did a press conference in years now. So, it's not about me. It's just about the work. Just do the work and it'll take care of itself. So, there are far better guys out there. The Muhammad's, Derek and Dr. Muhammad, Travis McGee, Larry McKenzie, Tahir Charles. These are cats that raised me in the game. So, I just do things a tad bit different than them. But exposing, and wasn't nobody doing it. And that's why some days I'm told you are like a kid and this is what's been told to me. You're like a kid in a sandbox. You don't play well with others. This is what was told to me. Because you either do it your way or you don't do it. And they right. I feel that these folks need to be thrown under a bus for what they do. And that creates balance. So for every Demetra, there's a 5-star. But if there was 400 Demetras, as long as you had one 5-star, we could balance this shit out. Because they ain't ready for me no day of the week. I can't wait to get to the next school board in-person meeting. Because I'm coming. Frat brothers and sorors, I'm coming. I ain't got no love for y'all. You shouldn't even be over some of these schools. But if we don't expose them, imagine if we expose these people in the educational environment like we should. You could get a whole bunch of them pedophiles out the building. You get a bunch of them out of there. Some of them little girls wouldn't be getting raped by these grown ass men. But, some days I take that to the powers that be. Oh, we can't find nothing. Then you come back 6 months later and text me, man, whatever you got to do, just get him out the building. Yeah, okay, I tried to tell you this 6 months ago. They ain't even have to go through that. But it is what it is, man. Final thoughts, Ms. Demetra.
Yeah, my final thoughts are, as far as me in my house, I am going to, do things what I deem to be proper when it comes to certain things. I said public relations is my field. Communications is also my field. And so I know the technical way to do things, and I know the moral way to do things, if you will. And so I'm going to stick to those things because for me, it's always been about protecting my reputation and my brand. And so, yeah, and I also want to say this. I hear Gary and Donovan, talk about a lot of things that they do, and you guys do a lot of things, but I don't want you guys out there to be remiss in thinking that I don't do anything. I'm just one of those people that like to move in silence. I've helped a copious amount of people, and some of the people watch the war zone, but that's between them and I. So, you know, again, everybody has a certain way that they do things. I'm just not one to do and tell per se. So see you guys tomorrow.
Absolutely, you guys. Again, do not forget Saturday, Politricks, Dirty Politricks, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. We are going to go into the second part because we are going to spoon feed you guys a little bit about some of the stuff that's going on down there in the voting elections in the state of Texas, which is going to be very, very important. But again, you know, this is why we do what we do. We're not a panel that is scripted. We all are individual people that have our individual thoughts and our individual values. And I think that's one of the best things that make this show so great. And I want you guys also to remember, if you haven't done it, watch the movie Mississippi Burning with Gene Hackman and Willem Dafoe. Remember, Willem Dafoe was the guy that was the FBI agent that was in charge, and he wanted to do everything by the book and the right way. And Gene Hackman was the experienced FBI agent. It was like, okay, look, we could do it this way, whatever. When you get ready, let me know and I'll get us some answers. Which way actually ended up working in that situation. So every situation is different. Everybody's thought is different. And sometimes it just has to be that way. You got to have people out there that just don't give a fuck.
I don't wear this patch lightly. I'm a different type of beast. I want you to look into my soul. These people have penetrated me. I've watched them use children. I've watched them destroy communities. And the one thing that I know in my heart, sometime in order to destroy somebody, you got to become them. So what you see from me is what they gave me. This is what they put inside of me. Because I'm the same dude that used to walk in the building with the 3-piece suit on, with the great conversation. And remember how you shitted on me? Hold on. I still got some of your shit on my jaw. Remember when I got tired of you shitting on me? So now you don't like what I've become. But I'm you. I am you. So guess what? As I'm riding around on my golf cart during election time, I'm going to have my Hennessy in the cooler. I'm going to be smoking my cigarettes. And you know why? Because you're going to love me for me. You're going to vote for me for me. And if you choose not to, let the chips fall where they may. Because guess what? I got a fucking diploma. I have a career. But I'm not finna be what y'all want me to be. Not one day, no more. This is real out here. We at war. So I tell you what, when I finish this, I'm going into the hood CNN tonight. And fuck all you politicians with a big fat dick. Because I don't love you. I don't love you. I don't like you. But remember, the way I feel is the way you've made me. You forgot when I used to wear them nice suits, huh? You don't get that no more, homie. You don't get that no more. Say we the best in the business is the War Zone 7 or whatever, YouTube and Facebook. I want to thank y'all for tuning in. My good friend Donovan Sadiq, the Queen Demetra K. I am the 5-star general. Back to back, bring your ass to the hood CNN, but get you some earphones, because I'm finna fuck you up. Till tomorrow night. Talk about money tomorrow night. Holla at y'all, man.